This is my 2011 MazdaSpeed3 tech package, and today we're going to be going through all the mods that are on it, exterior wise, performance wise, things I'm going to change on the car, and then we're going to go for a nice test drive, and hopefully I get everything that I want done on it, and then in a couple weeks, couple months, we'll revisit it when it's still fresh in my mind and compare how the car is when I have everything I like on it and in its current state. So let's begin with the exterior here. So a little history on this car. So it's lived most of its life in Alberta here, originally from Edmonton, then it moved down to Calgary, and then it went over to Ontario for a couple months, which is where I bought it. I've had the car for about 2 weeks now, so I've done some preventative maintenance to it, you know, a couple little mods here and there, cleaning stuff up, mostly just getting the car ready to be fully tuned. As it sits now, it is currently tuned, but it is making stock boosts, so that is about 15 psi, give or take. So that should be around the 263 horsepower, I believe it's rated for, from factory. So it should be making somewhere around there. It has 213-ish thousand kilometers on it. Relatively good condition, as you can see. There's definitely some things that need to be fixed on it, but you know, got it for a good deal, and I previously had a Speed 6 and I just couldn't stay away. So without further ado, let's get into it. So up front, let's start with the hood scoop here. As you can all see, the paint is cracked, it's chipping up. Yeah, that definitely needs to be redone. I think I'm going to stick with this gloss black hood scoop. This is a Cork Sport hood scoop, I believe, so it is quite a bit taller than the stock one, so a little bit more airflow. I think it looks all right. With the Panda scheme, it's definitely nice. The black and white, definitely nice contrast, but so that's number one. And then here, obviously, there's a bunch of little things on the car that need to be painted, like the front badge, rear badge, the MazdaSpeed3 badge. Those all need to be done. And actually, I'm taking it in for a detail tomorrow, so all these bugs will be removed and everything. So she's a little dirty right now, but in the next video with her, she'll definitely be better. So then we go to the headlights. These are OEM Xenon by Xenon headlights. They're quite bright, although you can see these have tint on them, and it's quite dark. I think it's probably about 35% tint on these. And driving it back from Ontario in 2.5 days, a lot of that driving is at night, and these headlights are not nearly bright enough, even with the brights on. It's actually kind of scary. It reminds me of driving like an old shitty halogen headlight car. So this, although I like the look, probably going to be going with some lighter tint, maybe a 50%, or maybe changing the bulbs to LED. We'll see. They're not projector housings, they are, or they might be projector housings, I don't know what they're called, but it's the ones that don't blind people at night when you increase the bulb, what's that, intensity, I guess. So yeah, these will both be getting fixed, hopefully. It's not a huge deal, I don't drive that much at night, but again, when I do, it's kind of fucking scary. So now we can move on to these fog lights here. So the fog lights on this car don't actually work. Did come factory with them, obviously. It's a Canadian car. I think we're required to have those, I could be wrong, but you can see the owner plasti dipped this and it's all flaking off now. Same thing with the badge, plasti dip white. I think I'm gonna redo these in white. I really like them. And then as for the fog lights themselves, they have this weird wrap on them. Don't like it at all. It looks dumb. I don't know if they're just unplugged or what, but they don't work. So I'm thinking maybe we go with some amber, you know, LEDs off of Amazon, just wire them in. We'll see. But yeah, so let's keep moving around the car. As you can see here, the classic, this is very common of this era of Mazda, to have your bumper clips fail and then the bumper pops out, and it's just a pain in the ass, but that one's not too bad yet. And then actually, we'll stop here real quick at these mud flaps. These are Rally Armor mud flaps. You can see they're not amazingly installed. There's some deck screws and three different kinds of screws holding these in. They're pretty stable. They do rub on a lot of speed bumps. You might be able to see that. Their plastic is all scraped up and whatnot, but yeah, so these, either I'll go ahead and trim these flush with the body or get rid of them entirely. I'm not sure yet. I'll probably try cutting them just because I already have them, and then if I don't like it, I'll just get rid of them. And then we can also move on to this. So as you can tell, the hood, or sorry, the roof, the mirrors, and then the rear diffuser back here, which we'll get to, are all wrapped black. I don't know when it was done. It's clearly kind of old because we have some nice chipping in the wrap here. It's been doing a good job of protecting the mirror though, I'd imagine, so that's always nice. Otherwise this car doesn't have PPF or anything, so I do have a paint touch-up pen that I'll be using. But anyways, I'm getting these rewrapped. I'm gonna keep the hood as is right now just because it's pretty expensive to get the whole roof rewrapped. And there's pretty few chips here, so I'm not really worried about it. I don't see any bubbling along the roof line here, so rust is not a concern yet. Mazdas do like to rust, but they're supposed to have fixed the issue with these years, so I pray for my wallet. And then you can see here there's residue from the tape that we used to put in a new windshield about a year ago, so that's nice. Then we come to these rain guards here. I actually quite like these. They give the car a nice little sleek look, you know. I really like them. They're functional too. You can leave your windows propped down as they are right now, actually, just to let a bit of heat out when the sun is out. Obviously this one's cracked, so I'll have to buy new ones. They're about 70 bucks on Amazon, so probably end up getting a new set of those. Yes, and then this is just, that's gotta go. I don't really think I need to explain why. That just looks stupid. It's on all door handles and it looks really cheesy, so that'll be getting power washed off. Now we come to the wheels. The wheels are clearly not in the best shape. So currently it's sitting on Gen 1 MazdaSpeed3 wheels. They look very similar to the Gen 2s, but they're 17s, as you can see right there, R17. So these are Gen 1 MazdaSpeed3 wheels. Yeah, they're 3 different colors, or this one's 3 different colors, and I think the other rear one as well. But anyways, these will be getting, I don't want to say refurbished, but fixed a little bit, a little more presentable. Going to be going with a gloss black after I take all this shitty paint off, and then send them down, and then blah blah blah. And yeah, it's going to be a long process, but I think it'll be well worth it. I did actually buy new wheels for the car yesterday, and turns out one of the wheels was cracked, so the guy was nice enough, he didn't know. He took the wheels back, gave me my money back, all good. But yeah, so this car is also sitting on studless winter tire, Bridgestone WS70s, yes. So they're actually quite good in this weather. It's a little warm, it's about 15-20 degrees here, but they do grip up quite well for winter tires, so you might hear them squeal a little, but that's to be expected. Now, out rear of the car, we still have the factory wiper, which is always nice. I know some speeds like the factory wiper delete. For a daily driver, that makes absolutely no sense, so I'm going to keep that. And then up here, we also have the spoiler extender. This is, I believe, just like an eBay part. Gloss black, obviously, it comes like this. And it is kind of eating in... Oh, actually, I thought it was eating into the paint, but... no, that's just adhesive, so that'll stay. I like that. It's a nice little touch. I'll probably have to clean up that adhesive though. And then these taillights. Some of the MazdaSpeed people will probably notice that these are not technically the stock taillights. So they are the stock taillight and everything, like body wise, but if you look really close, you can see and probably feel that these have been spray painted red. Why? I have no idea. They ruined it. These cars come basically stock with clear taillights. A lot of the Mazda 2.5 liters also came with them. But yeah, so this darker red piece here is the only part of the taillight that is actually red, and I believe that's just the reflector. But otherwise, all this is clear, that's clear. Obviously the brake lights themselves are still red, so people know you're braking, but it will look way cleaner on this otherwise black and white car. And the reflectors down there will probably be getting replaced with some clear ones as well. But anyways, I'll speed this up a little. This is a little cheap diffuser kit that came with the car. There's actually a couple more pieces to it in the back seats of the car. This is getting gone, I think. I don't like this. This is just a little strange. Doesn't really look good with the car, especially if I were to delete the mud flaps and the rear diffuser. It would just look kind of dumb. But yeah, it's completely non-functional just for it looks. But anyways, when we get to the under the hood stuff and performance mods, I'll also get to the exhaust setup, because you can see it's clearly not stock. I really wish I could cut those pipes, but that'll be a later thing. I can deal with it for now, but still not great. Other than that, we're looking, it looks like I've covered pretty much everything on the exterior of the car. Honestly, these years of the MazdaSpeed3 are really not that bad when it comes to looks, with a little bit of modification here and there. You know, to your preferences, obviously. This is not how I want to keep the car. I'm definitely going to change some things, but not a bad looking car. For what I paid, not bad at all. Brakes are also painted black, which is awesome. I love it. I'm gonna have to redo it though. I might powder coat them, but that's a later thing. They're still holding up. But anyway, now let's come into, oh, actually one more thing. With the tech package that comes with this car is equipped with the tech package. You have keyless entry here, so it's just a little button, and you can hear that locked it. As long as you have the key in your pocket, it'll lock. There's one on this door, the passenger door, and then also a lock button actually on the right taillight, which is nice. So if you're leaving your hatch, you can just close it, lock it, walk away. So there we go. Works every time, which is lovely. Let's get into the interior of the car. So the MazdaSpeed3s, at least the second gens, have this nice kind of red, you know, go fast pattern on the fabric of the doors. So gives it a nice little touch, I gotta say. All of the MazdaSpeed3s, at least the second gens, I'm speaking only for second gens here, that's all I know about, have the Bose audio system, and the MazdaSpeed6, because I had one. Had the Bose audio system, which gives you a sub actually in the middle of your spare tire in the rear, which is a very nice touch. And then with this Speed 3, you also get, look at that, real metal, what are those, door sill guards? This one is obviously embossed with MazdaSpeed, which is actually gives it a nice premium feel. I like that. Really nice touch. I wish it was illuminated, but oh well. Down there, you can also see you have full aluminum pedals, which is really nice. All of the MazdaSpeeds were only manual. Okay, only manual. They all have 3 pedals, which is awesome because that's a dying breed nowadays. Then we come to the seats. So the seats have that same red kind of go fast pattern on them. I believe the Gen 1s had MazdaSpeed printed right here, but I could be wrong about that. Red stitching, nice little sporty touch. We'll hop in the car here. So first things first, you got more red go fast pattern here. We have real carbon fiber wrap, fake carbon fiber wrap on here. Both door handles, but it would just be the same kind of red pattern. I think I'll keep that for now. I kind of like the look of it, but we'll see where the future takes us. So obviously, access port. This car is tuned by FreeTune. Again, stock boost, so it's only making around 260 horsepower. So it's no slouch, but it's not very fast. GTIs and whatnot will still give you the gap, unfortunately, unless you tune it. But yeah, so access port, which is just routed right here. What else do we got? We got the phone holder. And so this being a tech package, so the tech package includes the keyless entry that we already went over. It includes these nice gauges here. So in the base model MazdaSpeed3s, these gauges don't actually have the blue. So if I turn it to, no, not there. Anyways, there's a blue ring that goes just above all the, I don't know if you can see that, the blue ring that goes just above all of the numbers on the tach there, and also for your speedometer. Adds a nice little touch. And the base models, I know they're white, they do look kind of on the base models. I gotta say the tech package dials or gauges look far better in my opinion. You have leather steering wheel with red stitching here, awesome. You have Mazda's classic diaper design steering wheel here with all your very, you know, like first generation controls. They're not really intuitive, they don't do all that much. They do control the screen up there, which has some useful information, but yeah, we'll go through that real quick. So you can see You have your current fuel economy, so when you're driving, you have your range, that's one screen, and you have your audio, I don't know if your audio is on or off, not really helpful. Then you have your averages, resets, fuel economy and speed, your maintenance, so you have your tire rotation and your service due. You can reset that using a code reader, I believe, or bring it to the dealership, but that's kind of pointless. And then preferences is just your units, your temperature units, your time zone, adjust your clock, screen adjustment, alert volume. Sorry, there's a fire truck in the distance. Language, restore defaults, blah, 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 all that good stuff. Then you have your average fuel economy and your average speed, so that'll calculate as you drive. Nothing new there, some very basic stuff. Oh my god, what is happening? And then we have our nav button here, which will take us to the compass, which is great. And then these two buttons, they're only used for the nav menu, which is very strange, but I get they had to make it symmetrical, but that's their only use. They go that way and that way. There's only two screens here. So first is your map. The parking lot I'm in right now does not exist on the map. This is a very old map. I have not updated it. You can update it using this little thing here. There's an SD card behind there you can plug in. I do believe you have to pay for it though. So, not worth it. Everyone has Google Maps. Let's go back to the only screen I use for my range. Next up, we have our climate control and radio. It is a complete mess here. Very reminiscent of the Ford Focus, which Mazda was still partnered with during this time, I believe. Yeah, this is just stupid. This is confusing. Some of them come with screens. I don't know if that was just an option or what. Obviously, I don't have that. I wish I did. Climate control, you have auto climate. All your controls down here. All of the speeds, I believe, Gen 2 speeds had heated seats that will cook you. They're so hot, so fast. They're amazing in the winter. 12-volt socket there. And then, let's see. The AC on this car currently doesn't work. I'm getting it diagnosed. That'll be all good. Obviously, aftermarket shifter here. Yeah, shift boot has some burns in it. I got new shift boot. This is the new shift knob I got. This was the past one. You can see why I changed it. Those suck. Very vague throws with a longer shifter, which I do not like. I got new shifter bushings coming, solid shifter bushings. So that'll really liven up the transmission when you put it in. It won't wobble as much like that. Down here, 2 cup holders, nothing fancy. Manual e-brake, pretty decent cup holder down there. Got a bunch of stuff, another 12-volt socket and your aux input in there. Auto dimming mirror, which is very nice. Sunglasses. This car has been switched out to have LEDs here, which is very, very nice touch. This has gotta go. This is not ideal. And then yeah, let's move into the back seats here. Oh, I forgot. It does like to do that when you walk out of the car with the key in your pocket. It is very, very annoying very quickly. Anyway, alright, so unfortunately, some of my footage got corrupt and everything was way white out. So, let's do this again. Back here we have the same go fast pattern, which is, you know, pretty nice. On the seats as well, some more red stitching here. I myself am 5'10", and I have plenty of room back here. It's actually quite nice. You can kind of stretch your legs out a little. Nothing crazy. With the door closed, you have a nice armrest, and then 2 cup holders here. Gotta clean that up. Yeah, no vents, although it was an economy car at the time, just with a nicer engine in it, so what can you expect? Other than that, you have your lights up here, oh shit handle, and yeah, pretty good visibility out of this car as well. So, last but not least, let's go to the hatch, and then we will move on to the engine. Alright, so, to open the hatch, you just press that button, lift here. Usually, if the hood struts did work, it would lift it, but these are literally doing nothing. And this hatch weighs a lot more than you'd think. Cargo space, pretty good. I don't know the exact number. You do have room for a cargo cover there. I did not get mine. But yeah, not quite as good as a Golf. Most Golf trunks, obviously Golfs are huge when it comes to trunk space, but I'd say if you put one wheel in the front passenger seat there, you can get 2 sets of wheels and tires in here pretty okay. There might be some squeezing, but yeah, 2 sets of 18 should fit just okay. Last but not least, let's move on to our engine modifications. So as you can see, this engine is not stock. So we'll start over here. We have the Cobb intake with the Cobb SF. What is that? 2.5 inch intake. I did actually just pick up the turbo inlet, which is this hose right here, today. So by the time I film next video, that will be installed. It gives you far more airflow. I think 13 to 14% more airflow just by putting in the less restrictive pipe. A lot more turbo noise and faster spool. That's what I'm most excited for, is the faster spool. Even though this does have a KO4 turbocharger in it, there is still a little bit of turbo lag, so I'd like to get rid of as much of that as possible. And then we come through the turbo to the intercooler. We have the stock blow-off valve. My next video, there will be an aftermarket blow-off valve in there, which will be very nice. And then these cars actually had variable intake geometry called VTCS, I believe. So basically there's just a series of flaps in the intake that will either open or close depending on throttle position, RPM, blah blah blah. I don't know the science behind it, but long story short, they are very restrictive and they are in the middle of the intake runners, so those will be getting deleted. It's quite a simple process. You basically just pop all this mumbo jumbo off, pop the intake off, rip the whole thing out, put it all back together. It's really not a hard job. 1 to 2 hours, I would say. Yeah, not bad at all. Anyways, we have MazdaSpeed oil cap, and then we will talk about the exhaust. So you can probably see down there, it does have the stock first cat. I don't believe it has the second cat, which I kind of would prefer. And then from there, it is a 3-inch straight pipe with muffled tips that do absolutely nothing. Don't ever buy muffled tips. They do barely anything. But other than that, that's pretty much it. We have stock motor mounts all around. They're still good. Yeah, that's it. I think it's ready for a drive. All right, without further ado, let's get to driving. Sounds pretty good. I am gonna leave the windows just a little cracked just so we can get that nice exhaust note in here. Kind of give you some windows open, windows closed kind of stuff. We'll leave the radio off. Now let's set off. Nice clutch feel on this, pretty linear. Really not hard to drive. Shifter is obviously a little loose from the ears, but it is quite good from factory. You might hear when we go over some bumps a little bit of suspension squeaking. The rear shocks in this are completely gone, so we will be bouncing on just the springs, but what can you do? I do have those parts coming in a little bit here. 1, 2, 3. Even with that stock blow-off valve and the just a little bit of intake there, you can't actually hear the blow-off noise quite well, and there's quite a bit of intake noise, which I'm a big fan of. But otherwise, NVH-wise, obviously, it's mostly coming from the exhaust and the fact that it's non-resonated, non-muffled, just the cats keeping it quiet. But as a daily driver, you know, if you can handle some NVH and some drone, really not all that bad. We have all our access port stuff here. So we have AFR, boost, coolant temp, boost temp, HPFP pressure, and our KR. Once we find some little bit of on-ramp. Hey dog. Once we find an on-ramp here, we'll give her the beans, and then you guys will be able to see how hard she pulls. It's really not boost air temps are still a bit high, but shouldn't be an issue. We'll Still give her a nice pull here. Can definitely feel that torque steer pulling the whole car to the right. Ooh, traction control there. Yeah, these tires, again, they are winters. They do grip decently for being winters, but anything more than that and they just start to slip out. Traction catches you quite nicely. Obviously it has something to do with the rear struts being gone as well, but yeah, so sitting around 100k an hour here. You do get a little bit of drone, but it's really not that bad. I think a lot of the noise that you'd be hearing is from these winter tires in 20-degree weather. But a couple of things I forgot to mention is you have your cruise control here on the steering wheel, pretty easy, pretty conventional. And then obviously right there you have a little boost gauge. So you have your vacuum, 0, and then up to 15 pounds, which is the stock. Just in the middle here you have your fuel gauge, obviously your odometer, your trip odometer. Give a quick little pull here. Do a third gear. Oh yeah. Oh, pulls so good, so smooth. God, that is awesome. Every time I drive this car, I have fun. Downshifting, rev match downshifting, super easy in this car. Very easy clutch to learn on. See, it pulls to the right there. Nothing too crazy as far as power goes. Obviously, again, it is stock boost, just remapped fuel, so it does make a little more horsepower. I'm guessing it's about 260 wheel. No slouch for sure, especially in today's market of econo boxes and turbos that are solely there for efficiency. This is definitely a turbo there for power. Again, it's tunable. My last MazdaSpeed3 was actually tuned to 23 pounds. Was making around 300 all-wheel horsepower. And yeah, it is so fun once these things are tuned. And again, next video we'll have all that done. We'll have the nice blow off, we'll have everything. Here we go. I was going to show you launch control. I guess not. Just a great torque curve, and again, for being a stock motor, basically, aside from the mods we went over, it pulls very hard. But that turbo inlet is going to add a lot more air, therefore a lot more fuel. The VTCS, again, more air, more fuel. Obviously, having the stock hat there is a huge restriction in this system. It does reduce spool time and how fast you can get the air out of the cylinder, so a little bit of a hindrance there, but I think with everything else it'll be fine. Yeah, just a great engine and transmission combo. Did you hear that blow off a little bit? Great sounding stock blow off, although it is all the intake. And just there you can hear all the drone, mostly on D-cell. It's quite annoying, but if you just add a little bit of gas, it goes away. one more thing I want to show you guys is that this car does actually have launch control enabled. I believe it's set at 4,600 RPM. I won't launch the car, but I will give you a little peek here. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. We'll settle her down a little bit here and we'll talk about my final thoughts. So, final thoughts on my 2011 MazdaSpeed3. Great car, fantastic car. Although my example is old, you can see it has nearly 214,000 kilometers, or I don't know, 150,000 freedom units. It's a great car. It's held up quite nice. Again, Mazda is a slightly cheaper brand compared to the other ones, such as Acura and other performance hatches of the day, such as Volkswagen. But then again, for what I paid, amazing deal. Obviously, I've had to throw some money in it, and I got some more money thrown in. You can see us bounce because the rear shocks are gone. But lovely car. The handling is pretty good, even with these crappy winter tires on. Suspension, stock ride is quite good. I did develop the squeak and the struts failing actually on my drive back from Ontario, so I did get to feel what the failing, not failed, suspension feels like, which is amazing. Very good ride quality, soaks up a lot of bumps, and it's stiff when you want it to be stiff. The engine and transmission, although this is tuned pretty conservatively, it feels amazing. There's so much power to pass. It's still quicker than 80% of the cars on the road, which is great. The sound is great. I like it. I'm a big fan of it. I know not everyone is, but my car, I can do what I want with it. You can do whatever you want with yours. Shifter, pretty good. Mazda is known for having pretty decent shifters from factory, although now it's obviously a little rattly and old. Oops. Didn't know if someone was going to go or not. And then let's go to styling. Alright, let's end with the exterior. So overall, this car is not a timeless design. It definitely looks dumb with its big shit-eating grin. Obviously, it adds the nice side skirts and my diffuser. It doesn't really add on to this car all that much. The stock wheels on this car look great, although obviously these aren't stock. The clear taillights that will be on this car, amazing. I look forward to having them. You can see obviously my spoiler extender, the nice lights. Listen to that. Got a little bit of turbo noise in there, not bad. And overall, not a terrible looking hot hatch compared to GTIs and whatnot. Pardon, I'd say it's pretty average. You know, I prefer the look of this over a GTI, although, you know, an argument can be made for both sides. I'm a fan of this, and this is what I have, so this is what I got and what I'm using, so yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching this. I look forward to making the second video with all of the mods, or most of the mods, that I want to do to the car, and bringing you guys along for the drive. Hopefully I'm gonna hit some nice twisty turnies in this thing, and it'll look way nicer, perform way better, sound way better, and overall just be a better, more fun daily. I plan to keep it around 20-22 pounds, so making around 300 wheel horsepower, hopefully, which I think is the perfect amount for a daily. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.